I lived almost 60 years before Parkinson's. I had a full life plan from the time I was a kid. I invented a company called Indibucks when I was 7 years old. I had a bunch of ideas about how to get rich without trying too hard. Scrooge McDuck was my mentor. Cigarettes were a big deal back then. There was an advertisement of a guy sitting back at his desk with his hands behind his head. That was important to me. Get rich without trying too hard. It was so important, in fact, that like many 7-year-olds, I put the cart before the horse. Before I made my first dollar, I picked up my first cigarette. So there I was in my room, cigarette in the corner of my mouth, stretching my hands behind my head. My dad walks in and he says, "What in the world are you doing?" And I said, "Smoking and relaxing." So while I thankfully gave up cigarettes before the habit got too bad, I never gave up the idea of relaxing. I agree with Jimmy V. I think it's very important to have an enthusiasm for life. Yes, it's possible to live well with PD, but it's not possible to cure it yet. And part of the reason there is no cure is because some people think it's not that bad. Because they might look at someone, especially in the early stages, and say, "You seem normal." If it's not that big of a problem, and it's really hard to solve, why should we try? Let's start with the first part. It is a big problem. It's the fastest growing neurological disease in the world. If you don't know someone with PD right now, odds are you will in the next 20 years. The second part, how hard it is to solve. That's true, but why in the world would we back away from something just because it's hard? The threat is real. The number of people diagnosed with Parkinson's doubled between 1990 and 2015. That number will double again by 2040 unless we do something about it. Some of the things associated with Parkinson's you probably know or have seen: tremors, falls, slurred speech, drooling, freezing, the facial masking that makes people think you're pissed off all the time. Did you know constipation is a thing with Parkinson's? You'll learn more about your bowel than you ever wanted to know. When you get Parkinson's, it isn't just the physical nobody. That's only the surface. It's what lies beneath that really eats you up. This cognitive fog, the fear of the unknown, symptoms that suddenly appear, the isolation from the shame and frustration, the apathy which feels like I want to, but I can't, depression, anxiety. How about the way people look at me, like I'm about to die, when I'm just trying to get by?